Hi, Leslie Gu here. The Iran and US war still goes on, and it's still very fluid, still got a lot of uncertainties. Um, and this hour, USA, we have achieved this and that. We're going to attack Iran. In the next hour, well, we are not going to attack Iran. We're going to talk, and then Iran will come out and say, no. We are not talking to the US. We are actually talking to another party. So all these uncertainties will continue to worry the market sentiments. Will also continue to keep market sentiment very cautious because you just don't know what will happen. And that also give us a glimpse of what is going to happen. Uncertainty, right? The credibility of any announcement from this party or that party, so on and so forth, is very low. Right? It's make people hard to believe that whatever progress, whatever improvement that's being announced, well, it could change in the next seconds. So in general, for this week, market sentiment will still be cautious, will still be very wary. The situation is still very volatile. What is going to happen to the oil and gold prices this week? Now, let's look at the crude oil. This is baseline, and because of the fluid situations, the probability is high for the crude oil price to be above the baseline as well as below the baseline. It's still very fluid. It could happen. It could happen above $100 per barrel and later on below $70 per barrel. That could happen because that affects the sentiment and prompt the market players to be, to keep its own positions fluid. It doesn't want to be tied down with big positions, and as well as at the same time, it also have to maintain some buffer for its trading. So that's why I see that it give equal high chance of the crude oil move above the baseline as well as fall below the baseline. So this is the trading sentiment. Over a medium to longer outlook, the current high inflation risk is going to hit the global economy. And what that means is the oil demand moving forward will become lesser and lesser. So the outlook, how should I put it? The medium to longer term perspective of the crude oil is coming down, right? It's a downtrend of the crude oil prices on the medium to longer term basis. So this is the assessment for this week on the crude oil. Now, let's look at the gold prices. This is a baseline, and it is still very fluid for the gold price. So the chances for it to move above the baseline or below the baseline carry equal weights. And you can see that currently the two forces on, let's say, the band above the baseline is the inflation risk is high, right? Because no doubt the crude oil price in the international market is on the weaker end, but the domestic oil prices, oil company is to be very sticky to adjust the oil price lower, like gasoline, petrol, so on and so forth, lower. So the domestic inflation risk is too high, and that to hedge that purchasing power risk, there is a demand for the gold, and that keep the strength side of the gold price maintained at that low. It is still there, right? It's not going away. The strength of the gold price. And what about the weak side, right? Below the baseline? Global interest rates are not going to be cut, to be lowered, at least by this year. In fact, it has the tendency to be higher because of the inflation risk, because inflation is still very stubborn. It still has not shown any pressure or any signal of coming down. So interest rates are to remain high. And that makes people less incentive to hold gold, because gold does not give you any returns, any monthly return or quarterly payout, so on and so forth. The only gain you get from gold is price gain. So looking at that, it is more worth to allocate the cash that would have been on gold to other assets like equities, like treasuries, so on and so forth. So, and that have an adverse impact on the gold price. But one thing to highlight is that the support for the gold price at this moment, I still see at 3,009, 4,000 level. At that level, various central banks will come in and pile up their gold portfolio, especially the China Central Bank. So at this moment, the gold will get support when it touches the 4,000, around that level, 4,000 per ounce level. So this is the assessment for gold price this week. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Cheers.